Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Thursday, March the 28th. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCBC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It is game day. Tonight, the Vancouver Canucks host the Los Angeles Kings, and we see, finally, the NHL debut of Quinn Hughes. He's our D-man who we picked in the first round, 7th overall in the 2018 NHL entry draft last June, and this has been a much anticipated debut. In fact, that's what I'm going to talk about for the first little bit. I would dare say that this is a much more anticipated debut than the debut of Brock Boeser last year, and certainly Brock Boeser 2 years ago, and certainly Adam Gaudette last year. But I'll get into that in a second. Didn't do a video yesterday. As you know, when you're in Vegas, it can get a little busy, a little crazy. For me, it's not so much crazy, but it is a little busy down here with my family. My son Sean bowling in a tournament this weekend. But pretty cool experience this morning. My son Jacob, the second bowler in our family, or the second son, and he's the provincial champion right now. He met his idol. He met the bowler that he emulates himself. He emulates and he patterns himself after. That is Australian bowler Jason Belmonte. In fact, Jason Belmonte is the #1 bowler in the world right now. And just about an hour ago, Jacob got to meet him and took a picture with him. Belmonte signed a jersey of Jacob. Very, very cool moment. I'm very happy for my son. And it's very akin to when I was at the All-Star game back in January, when I got to meet Elias Pearson, and when you had the best players in the world just kind of mingling around. So I wasn't as close to as some of the bowlers. That all the bowlers were just kind of going around the bowling alley. Granted, it's not it's not as exciting for most people as, say, the best NHL players in the world, but much like I got to meet Pearson, I was very excited. Jacob got to meet his idol in Jason Belmonte. And it's pretty cool when you're in the presence of the best at anything in the world, whether it's the best hockey player in the world or the best cook or the best whatever, the best at math, to be around the best bowlers, and in this case, the best bowler on the entire planet. Pretty cool moment. So I'm very happy for my son Jake, and it was a good start to the day. As for me, I'm in the familiar confines of a car. I'm in a beast of a car. This is a Nissan Armada. It sounds like a fleet or like a whole group you go to war with. It's a massive, massive truck. And really quick story, kind of funny story. We actually rented a standard SUV. We went to go drive it out of the rental lot. And when they checked the VIN, it didn't match the license plate. So they couldn't let us take that car just in case we got stuck or pulled over. They had to figure out what was going on. So they gave us a free upgrade. There's probably $80 a day more. And yes, this brand new 2019 Nissan Armada. No, I'm not getting paid for this, but there were 2 miles on it. I'm the first one to rent it, first one to drive it in Las Vegas. It is crazy. It is massive. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's a very, very big car, big vehicle. Okay, you don't care about that. You care about the Canucks, as I do. So tonight, Quinn Hughes. Actually, let's talk about the other lineup changes. There's actually 4 lineup changes tonight. It's Hughes and Hutton coming in on the back end. So that means that Tevez after 1 game and actually Sautner sit. So that means it looks like our pairings will be Edler and Biega, Hutton and Stetcher, and then Quinn Hughes with Luke Shen. And we all know the stories of how Hughes was there for Luke Shen's debut. We know the stories of how we look forward to the fact that Shen will protect Hughes as much as he can on the ice. Not that Hughes needs protection. You can't hit what you can't catch, right? That's going to be my motto for Quinn Hughes. But regardless, I look forward to seeing what Quinn Hughes can do. And it's nice that he has an NHL veteran, on his side. As his D partner. So that's on the back end. Up front, just one change. It's Ryan Spooner coming in for Sven Berchi. So Sven Berchi got a couple games in after returning from his post-concussion symptoms. So we'll see what that means, if it was a setback or more, just a chance to see what they have in Ryan Spooner. And then, of course, in net, we have Thatcher Demko coming in and Markstrom taking a break. So again, Demko, Spooner, Hutton, and Hughes are in. That means Markstrom, Berchi, Tevez, and Sautner are out. Let's talk about Quinn Hughes. I would dare say that expectations for today, yes, they need to be tempered. Coach Green was talking about that already. Yes, we can't get too excited, but you can't help us for being excited and looking forward to, of course, we're looking forward to what he does in these last 5 games of the season, but more importantly, what he does for us going forward. It's amazing how Hughes and Hutton coming in instead of for Tevez and Sautner makes the Canucks blue line sound that much stronger. So what are our expectations for Quinn Hughes? Well, we talked about it before. He's a wonderful skater, great edge work, great cuts, very fluid, very, really nice motion. So I expect to see him, even in game one, I expect to see good zone exits. I expect to see good zone entries. I think on the power play, they're not going to start him on PP1 like it would PP2, but you're going to see a lot of more movement on power play 2, changing angles, walking the line, getting the puck to his teammates. That's what I'm excited about, and I don't think it's too much to expect to see some of that in his first game today. He might not be a world beater today, but he will be someone that we can get behind and get excited about. And Brock Boeser debuted 2 years ago, but we didn't have enough time to build up the hype for his anticipation for his debut, because he basically got knocked out of the playoffs and then started playing for the Canucks basically 2 days later, I think it was. And it was perfect timing and because it was an away game in Minnesota. So I think there's only a 1 or 2 day gap between his college career and starting with the pros. Adam Gaudette, much less ballyhooed last year. So Boeser got 9 games. Gaudette got 5 games last year. Although a Hobey Baker Award winner, we didn't know that until later. It was, a debut with less fanfare. And then this year, Quinn Hughes will get 5 games, just like Gaudette got 5 games last year. But the anticipation, because A, high draft pick, higher than Gaudette, obviously higher than Boeser. B, technically he could have played if he was healthy 2 weeks ago, but because of his injury, because of the ankle injury, but because he was in Vancouver for the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 weeks to mull over him, get excited about his actual debut. So again, tonight, Quinn Hughes, after 9 months after he got drafted, 2 weeks after his season ended, we're finally going to get to see him tonight. So I can't wait to. I actually can't watch the game tonight. We're going to go see a show, our only show of the week, and it happens to be on the night that Quinn Hughes debuts. But I'm sure I'll catch up on highlights and be able to vlog about it tomorrow. The only other thing I want to talk about today was a poll I put up yesterday, looking at the acquisitions, the mid-season acquisitions that Jim Benning has made. And there's been a few of them, but the 4 major ones I put on my poll, I basically said, which of these 4 acquisitions was the best? And I put Josh Leivo from Michael Carsoni from Toronto. Is it Tanner Pearson for Eric Goodbranson from Pittsburgh? Is it Luke Schenn for Michael Del Zotto from the Ducks? Or was it Ryan Spooner for Sam Gagner from Edmonton? Got over 700 votes in the first first 12 hours of the poll, and is very heavily slanted to Josh Leivo. 74% of the people said Josh Leivo was the best acquisition. 15% said Tanner Pearson. Only 11% said Luke Schenn. And 0% said Ryan Spooner. I think there's 1 vote in there, but it still rounds off to 0%. So we don't really have to talk about the Ryan Spooner for Sam Gagner one. We'll see what we have in Spooner still. They're still trying to figure that out. Luke Schenn got 11% of the vote. I think he's been a nice addition, especially considering Del Zotto wasn't in the Canucks' plans. And Schenn has played well, especially in the absence of guys like Chris Tanev to injury. Schenn has been a solid third-pair guy, and we love the way he stands up for his teammates, i.e. that's why he's playing with Quinn Hughes tonight. Moving on up, Tanner Pearson got 15% of the vote. I actually would have voted for Tanner Pearson, and Josh Leivo, 74% of the vote. Runaway winner. So let's talk about Leivo and Pearson. Obviously, I like them both, and a couple of you made some really good points on Twitter. I think you have to look at what you gave up. So with Josh Leivo, you gave up Michael Carsoni, a guy who likely was never going to make the Canucks. In Tanner Pearson, what you gave up was Eric Goodbranson, a guy who was falling out of favor with Canucks management, Canuck coaching, Canucks fans. Still, a top 6 D-man in the league for sure, maybe bottom 3rd pairing. So, you gave up a bit more technically. But if he wasn't in the Canucks plans going forward, then maybe then obviously that was a good trade as well. A couple of you also brought up, well, what about the circumstances that got Goodbranson in the first place, i.e. trading Jared McCann and a draft pick? I get that. I get why there's angst and still anger about that trade. But for the purposes of this discussion, I just want to talk about, the most immediate ramifications, i.e. who we gave away. So in some ways, it was an addition by subtraction. If you get rid of Goodbranson and Carsoni, you're getting rid of a 3rd-pair defenseman and a career AHLer potentially for 2 top 9 guys. You could argue Tanner Pearson maybe is a top 6 guy. We can say Josh Leivo is a top 9 guy. And their stats bear them out. Since coming to Vancouver in December, Josh Leivo in 44 games has put up 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points total. So 18 points in 44 games. You extrapolate that to a full 82-game season, presuming a full healthy season. Josh Leivo would have 15 goals, 19 assists and 34 points. So 34 points, that's not bad for a low-end top 6 guy or a high-end third-line guy. So 34 points extrapolated over a full 82-game season for Josh Leivo. I've talked about it in the past. He creates space for Boeser and Pearson, who he's played most of his time with. He has a really good shot, really great snapshot actually. Wrist shot, slap shot, not bad as well, but we don't see that as much as a snapshot. Really good from scoring goals in, from the slot. So good hands, good on the boards. I think Josh Leivo, a little streaky, a little inconsistent, but generally being a really good pickup for the Canucks. As much as I like the Pearson pickup, I like the Tanner Pearson pickup even more. As much as I like the Leivo pickup, I like the Pearson pickup even a bit more. I've always liked Tanner Pearson ever since he was in LA. Didn't do much in Pittsburgh, but check out these stats. I know it's a small sample size, but in 14 games, Pearson has 5 goals, 2 assists for those 7 points. So 7 points in 14 games. Easy math, extrapolate that over 82-game season, presume full health. That's 41 points in 82 games, 29 goals and 12 assists. I don't know if the discrepancy between goals and assists would be that big, but 29 goals, 12 assists, 41 points in 82 games. So we have a 40-point guy, and he could be a 25 to 30 goal guy in Tanner Pearson. That is bona fide second-line production right there. So again, Pearson and Leivo, you get 2 top-9 guys for a third-line defenseman and a career AHL guy potentially. Don't want to write off Carsoni yet, but you never know. I love Pearson's games. He's got really good hands around the net. That's the one thing we've seen. He's also a bigger body, a bit more stockier than Leivo, not as tall. But Pearson's not afraid to use his body. He's kind of broad that way. But I really like his offensive instincts. I really like his hands around the net. And he's been playing a lot with Bo Horvat. And when Horvat makes his rushes to the net or tries to set up plays, Horvat, an underrated passer in his own right, we have a guy now in Tanner Pearson who can finish off those plays in front of the net. So whether it's going to be Horvat and Pearson with a Berchi, a Godobin, likely not, or a free agent, whatever it may be, I think Pearson could ride shotgun with Horvat for a few more years. And like I said, Pearson with his great hands around the net, his offensive instincts, he could be a nice fit for Bo Horvat and his playmaking as a center. So maybe that's what we're set up for. We're Pettersson and Boeser for sure, Horvat and Pearson before. Does Josh Leivo get to play with one of those, or does he drop down the third line? Where does Jake Virtanen go? Where does a free agent signing go? Lots to think about. But my point here today is, I think in Josh, a lot of people have been slamming Jim Benning for maybe the rebuild not being as far ahead as we want it to be. Pettersson gave us some early season hope, but we'll see where that goes. But for all the misgivings people have about Jim Benning, I'm happy with his in-season, mid-season acquisitions of Leivo, of Pearson, both equally and equally effective so far. And the reason why I bring this up is the last game they combined for 2 third-period goals, playing alongside Bo Horvat, after Travis Green juggled his lines a bit. So that's why I really noticed them playing with Horvat, Pearson and Leivo with Horvat, 3 bigger bodies, all good hands, all with some offensive flair. So maybe that's a line that sticks. We will see tonight. All right, Canucks fans, let me know what you think. You can talk about anything. You can talk about Quinn Hughes' debut, the anticipation, the expectations. You can talk about Leivo. You can talk about Pearson. You can talk about the Canucks' last 5 games of the season. Whatever you talk about, you know that I'll read it. I may not reply and react as always, but I'll definitely read and react. I may not reply as always. It's a little busy, like I said, here on family vacation, but I will try my best to upload these daily vlogs. Not that you guys are expecting them, but I like to do it, of course, and stay on top of what the team is doing. Vancouver, LA Kings tonight. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day, and go grab some lunch and go for a swim with some friends down here in Vegas. Have a great night. Quinn Hughes time. God bless. Go Canucks, go.